Hello book lovers, welcome back to another episode of myView on books. You're watching MaddiE. I'm MaddiE Dawson. In today's episode we're going to review Fahrenheit 451, one of the inspiration for my short movie The Last Copy of Sapiens. Alright, so the story of Fahrenheit 451 is fiction, obviously, and it's set in a futuristic dystopian world wherein the community is controlled by dictators and there is war going on. An interesting concept which is set in this futuristic world is that the fire squad, the firemen, are being used to destroy and basically burn books. So in this society, nobody is allowed to read or possess books. So if you found out, if anybody is found out carrying a book or possessing books in their home, their house will be burned out and the books will be burned. And if the owner, whether it's a male or female, if she's refusing or not allowing the fireman to burn the books, they will also be burnt along with the books. So such is the cruelty in this society, which is very sad and extremely disciplined by military and other different divisions of the government. So basically we have certain dictators ruling around the world and there is war going on. People hear sounds of guns and helicopters always, and they live in boxes or very basic form of building, and this is how the story is set up. And our protagonist, the whole movie, the whole book, the story of the book revolves around a protagonist who's named as Montag. And to add things, fuel to the fire, Montag is a fireman in the fire squad. So he's part of the fire squad, so he goes along places where he gets called and you have to burn books. So at one point of time when he's going to a building to burn books, he takes some books and keeps it to himself. And he comes back to the house, so his wife is alarmed. So his wife is having a saloon and she has his own business to mind. But when she finds his husband coming back with books, it's really something terrible for her. She can't tell any word about it to her friends or gossip about it. And being a woman, not gossiping is very difficult. So she's in a situation where she would turn her husband in or should abide by her husband. They keep the books for a couple of days, and that's when Montag reads the books and what the books give to humans. So all this extreme control from the government is because they thought that books are making people think, and everybody starts to think it's becoming trouble. So they thought they'll remove books from the world and put on some rules, and the rules should be followed by everyone. That's the basic idea. In the very first act, there's only 3 chapters. So the very first chapter, we see that Montag is making a beautiful friendship with a little girl who thinks differently, who enjoys the surrounding, the nature around it. But then after a few weeks, she disappears. She's completely vanished. So he thinks it was obvious because that girl was acting weird. She was not following the norms or rules from the school, or she was going out for walks, thinking differently, narrating poems. So it was impending that the girl was about to vanish from the society. And that's a small example of the world. So anybody acts differently, they'll vanish from the society because they are reading, and that's the anomaly needs to be destroyed. So this is how it goes. Montag gets a couple of books, he hides in his house, and eventually the fire squad gets to know about it and they come to burn the books, and Montag escapes and he goes into a forest where he finds other old men who's from the society, away from the society. They are also wanted, but they are in the forest where government does not scrutinize much. So they live on their own with meager food supply available in the forest. They have memorized books, so they do not have they do not have hard copy of books. They memorize the book, the Republic, Plato. So everybody has photographic memory and each person is a book. So it is Montag's turn to memorize a book, and he thinks that he finds things interesting, and that's when he's being chased by the police and the government, and that's when the war is also at its peak, and they decide that once the war is over, they will go back to the society and teach people about the books that they have the memory of, and bring the books back into the world. So this is the story, and the narration is very slow and soothing, because this is a set in a futuristic dystopian world, and so it has to be in a slow toning. It's not thrilling. It will be slow because the characters are developed. So in the first chapter we see the small girl making friendship with Montag, and through the interactions we get to know both of them. The girl is acting weirdly, and Montag does not interact much at the beginning, but he makes a friendship, and when the friendship was growing, the girl disappears, and there are sequences we have exposing the Montag's wife, what kind of work she's doing, and in such a society what's her prestige and how to maintain a status, so how it is difficult to earn a particular wall of a building. All those are written beautifully. The writing is good and narration is slow, as I said, so you need to have patience reading this, but it's an excellent story. I have having known this similar world in 1984. It is also kind of the book was written in 1950s, but the story was set in 1980s, and the author had predicted that in 1980s it would be dictatorship all around the world. So that 1984 book is a similar story, and having known both the stories, I thought of a story which was transformed into the movie Last Copy of Sapiens. So this book is very good. I would recommend everyone to read this book, Fahrenheit 451 by Bradbury. It's just 200 pages in length, and it makes you gives you a sad feeling towards the end, but I think it's worth an experience going through such a novel and imagining the society. And yeah, I think you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let's meet up in another episode of myView on Books. Until then, it's MaddiE Dawson. You're watching MWM. Bye bye.